Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. So, today, Olivia and I will be discussing generational curses, how to break them, how to understand them, and the patterns of them. So, hopefully, you will enjoy this as much as we've enjoyed putting it together for you. As you know, my name is Jolonda, and my co host is here, Olivia Brothers. Say hi.
Hi.
So this week, I've been tasked with opening and starting the conversation. So let's go. So, question number one to Miss Brothers. What was the moment you realized you were living within a generational pattern, AKA curse, that needed to be broken?
Oh my goodness. When did I realize I was living in a generational curse?
Yeah.
That needed to be- Um, when I first had my first child, um, and my mother said something to me, and I realized that, oh, this baby is gonna do whatever they need to do. I'm not gonna force my ideas, force
Mm,
what I want them to be, all of those different things on them.
mm,
If they
mhm,
decide that they want to be a race car driver or a weatherman, which my son wanted to be at the time, sportscaster, whatever, that's what they're gonna be able to do. And um not force the issue of what society says that us in the middle class, because we were middle class technically, um, to do on my child.
mm. Okay. So I would guess I would have to answer the same question.
Yes. You.
I'm going to repeat it because I need to think about it again. What
Mhm.
was the moment I realized I am living or was living, excuse me, just to be known to, I'm having allergy issues, so I may have to stop to catch my breath. But what
Okay.
was the moment I realized I was living within a generational pattern that needed to be broken? I like that you actually figured it out well before me. I really never figured that. I didn't have a moment of realization. Like you have a distinct,
Yeah,
this is the moment of realization.
it
I
was.
never had that. Just over time and in my growth and in
Mhm.
focusing on myself and learning who I am, I just start to realize then that I'm repeating patterns that my mom kind of did in certain aspects, and also that other women in my family that I'm close to have done, but it wasn't a distinct moment. It's kind of been ongoing for me. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it clear as day. I picked up my baby and I was like, deuces.
That's cool. So your
Mhm.
kids, it seems, even when we had other discussion, your children have been a catalyst for a lot of growth for you.
From the moment they were brought into the moment that I had conceived them, that my children have been the catalyst of everything that I do in my life.
Now, for you, is that all of your babies or just the two that made
All
it all
of them. Every
all of
single baby that I've had.
okay. I wanted to ask
And
that
for
before.
those of you who don't know, I had two very far miscarriages, or stillbirths or whatever you call them. So
Hmm.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Question number two.
Hmm.
What does breaking generational curses personally mean to you? And how do you define it in your life? Let me repeat that. What does breaking generational curses personally mean to you? And how do you define that in your own life? That's a good question.
So what it means to me is not to repeat things that were detrimental
Hmm.
to growth as an individual.
Hmm.
It could be growth of anyone. It could be growth of any part of my family. Uh, for me, looking at my family tree, looking at everything that I learned about myself even older, I realized that, and then even being an educator, I realized that we all, me specifically, have have a duty on this earth, a purpose on this earth. And I feel like the things that were going on in my family, the things that were being repeated in my family, were things that were going to stop me from being who I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized that I have to step out of that cookie cutter type of mentality, I would live a better life. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had lapses where I've fallen back into those cookie cutter thoughts and cookie cutter things, but my main purpose was to always break that so that my children, and they can tell you now, they will never be able to say that my mom forced me to do anything, my mom did any of that stuff. I made sure that they had a voice every time because I feel like the generational curse that was the biggest for me was not having a voice.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So, what does breaking generational curses personally mean to me? Yeah, I was hoping to have an answer by the time you finish. Um, well, okay, so for me, the definition of a generational curse or pattern is when someone repeats a behavior um, that they have seen from their
Mhm,
parents and grandparents, and thus. But the negative of that is you're doing something without knowing why.
mhm,
Because I'm going to say we both have been focusing on breaking generational curses and all the negativity of it, but there are some positive generational patterns that we do possess. So let's not negate that. But the repeating of patterns that bring you uncomfort or discomfort and lack of joy. So that's what that means to me. So
mhm,
my goal in life is to live now, today, to live in search of happiness and joy, and I only do what brings me joy and pleasure. If it doesn't, I don't participate unless it's for the detriment of someone I love. Then I'll suck it up and deal with it. But if it's for me personally, if it doesn't bring me joy, I won't do it. So that for me, that's breaking my curse because I was always raised to be in service of others, and my happiness be damned. So that curse has been broken. So that's mine. I hope I'm answering it correctly. And
mhm.
how do I define it in my life? And that's how
Yeah,
I define it in my
it's
life.
your life.
Yay. And for those listening, in case you hadn't figured it out, we found 10 random questions. So this is the first time either one of us have seen these questions. So this is really, truly spontaneous. Okay. So here we go. Number three. What fears or doubts came up when you made the decision to step away from family patterns or expectations? Would you like me to repeat that?
I already know the fear was being ostracized, being talked about, not being the normal person of the family. Black sheep is always what I've been from the time I was born. So I guess the whole fact of breaking generational curses was part of my legacy because I was the black sheep. Um, we'll talk about my story later, but in my story, I definitely tried my hardest to do everything the right way, the right time, at the right cadence, the right beat, with the right clothes, with everything that I was told to do. I was uh, the baby doll for a little bit. So I know that one of the things that was detrimental and was the fact that I had to realize that I'm going to not be liked or
Mm,
talked to or um,
mm.
part of the family.
I like your answer. I like your answer so much that I'm going to second it
Hmm.
because that's also been a big thing for me. Um, but more so on the with the being talked about and realizing for me, it took for me to realize that I was doing everything that everyone wanted me to do. You know, yes, I chose to go to college, get married, and do those things. I did make that choice myself, but in the back, it was always, well, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is
Hmm.
the order you're supposed to do things.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what I did. Worked out for me, yay. Um, However, I had to realize do I was living my life, like I said, to please others, to always make others happy, um, for fear of being ostracized, talked about, belittled. And then when I really sat back, when I was living my life for other people, I was ostracized, talked about, and belittled. Like Olivia said, she was the black sheep. I was the girl that always thought she was white, which was so funny to me. And I'm like, dude, I grew up in on the south side of Chicago. It, if you know, you know. So just because I followed these things, that didn't mean I thought I was white. Or because you spoke a certain way, that doesn't mean you think you're white, you know. And Olivia can attest to that because she was
Definitely.
also a white glove girl. So um, we had that to deal with. But I'm rereading the question. Yeah. So that was a big thing, the fear of being alone with that. And then having to realize, so being able to overcome that fear was realizing I was unhappy, but I was still being talked about and all of that. Whereas now I'm happy and the people don't care. Like the people I was worried about talking about me, who used to talk about me, don't care. They're just like, okay, she's just doing her thing. So it was a fear based in what? I don't know. So that's been funny. That's been funny. Okay, number four. Who or what inspired you to believe that change was possible for your family line?
Mm, that's hard because
Mhm,
I always knew as soon as immediately if I had kids that I was breaking
mhm,
all of the traditions. I was breaking everything. I
mhm,
knew that from the time probably high school on. Um, but the biggest catalyst, I guess.
mm.
Hmm.
I know it's hard, right?
See, because I've always had this in me where I never wanted not saying I grew up bad, not saying I grew up with mean parents. My parents were very loving, very took care of me, did like the best. They were the best. But the things that were instilled in me, there were very good things, and then there was things that I questioned constantly, like, what? What?
Mhm,
That's not what is going on in our family, but like you're trying to force it on me, like those type of things. So I guess
mhm,
like when I realized that
mhm,
what you say, it's do as I say, not as I do.
mhm,
I think that's when it hit me.
mhm,
I was 18 going to college,
mhm,
and I realized that I have to do what's best for me, even though I
mhm,
still did things that I was supposed to do. But I knew though from that point on, when it came to having children or whoever I had children with, I was going to break whatever curse that was in my generational line
mhm,
and within their father's generational line too.
We're gonna do a do on that one because I like that.
Hmm.
May I ask you a backup question?
Hmm.
So you just said, I don't know if you realize it, that you decided to break the generational curses not when you had your children, but when you went away to college.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it
that's
was
cool.
growing up. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. Growing up, um, in the area that I grew up,
Mm,
uh, I always felt it was pretty uneven, um, boys and girls, the way African American boys were treated versus African American girls were treated. I still feel the same way to this
right,
day.
right.
I feel that girls are raised to be in school, work, take care of families, all of those different things, where
Mm,
boys are not raised that way.
right.
Boys are raised as they're the king. They can do no wrong unless the wrong comes to their doorstep.
Mhm,
And looking at some of the things that happened within my family, um, and I'm not talking about my immediate family because there was all girls in my house, but the extended
mhm,
family and seeing
mhm,
that, I was like, hmm, it's do as I say, not as I do.
mm,
Or it's do as I say, but it's okay for the other
mm,
members of the family to do something else because they're males.
mm,
It was the same thing with looking at classmates that I went to school with.
mm,
The African American males did one thing and the girls had to do another. We were held to different standards, where the boys could do this to do that, which goes into a whole nother conversation. But for me, that was that catalyst
mm.
because I went to a school where the ratio was one guy for every 12 girls,
Are we talking elementary or high or college?
college. So
College.
when I
Okay.
realized that, I knew that I have to find my own path. I have to find whatever I need for me,
Mhm.
even though whatever happened, but I had to find my own path.
So, what did the 1 to 12 ratio? Mine was 1 to 7. So, what did the 1 to 12 ratio? You said realizing the 1 to 12 ratio.
Hmm.
That was something, another catalyst for you finding your own path. What about that made it imperative or reminded you to go in search of your own path?
Because males were again going to be put on pedestals, and
Oh, I
girls will have to
understand.
fight
Okay.
as they always do to get the scraps that they're given with uh dating,
Mm,
with just even scholarships or time with professors. Like we
mm,
always had to fight to be seen because there
wow.
was more of us.
Yeah,
So we had to fight to be seen, where the guys there was less, so they were always seen.
that is a different take. I
Hmm.
never, that's why I went deep into that. That was never, I never saw that way. So
No.
it's different for me. So that's why I asked the question.
Hmm.
Um, cool beans. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so we're still on number 4. So did you have anything else to say about who or what inspired you to believe that change was possible for your family line?
Oh, well, it was me. I knew it was possible. I knew that whatever regardless I was gonna do, I was going to work it. And the fact that I had a boy and a girl, it made it even better
Yeah.
because no one could say that I treated anybody different and I did anything different because I had both a boy and a girl, where most people had either two girls or two boys, and like they couldn't have that comparison. I had that comparison. I even had like people say, well, he's a boy, he should do this. No, well, he can do this because he's a boy. Well, she can do this because she's a girl. If he can do it, she can do it. And I
So
used to
now
say
you
that all the
understand
time.
there's some other
She can do
siblings.
it as well as he can do it. If he has permission to do it, she has permission to
Right.
do it too. And I know you know, because I'm like, mm-mm,
Mm, yeah.
nothing's gonna change. I don't care age, whatever. It's all the same.
I'm understanding some different things now. I've known
Hmm.
you for
Over
30,
30
what,
years.
38? 38 years?
Well, 15, so 45 years.
Jesus.
No, 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 35 years. 35.
Okay, I was about to
35. 35.
say enough
Yeah.
that we grew up together. So, but that's a different take. I never knew. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm going to answer the question too. I really don't have much to say on that, but I'm going to answer it as well. But I'd like to expound on what you said because
Hmm.
what you said was so profound because I never saw it that way.
Hmm.
That may be why I was blessed with two girls.
Hmm.
Um, instead of a boy, I wanted a boy. I wanted
Hmm.
a boy and a girl because I only wanted two kids.
Hmm.
Um, but they were like, nope, you get two girls. So I said, okay, that's what I got. But I never saw that difference thing. I
Hmm.
saw it in my extended family,
Hmm.
um, but it never touched me, if that makes any
Hmm.
sense. It never
Hmm.
touched me. And I think that might have had a lot to do with the fact that I'm an only child. No, you
Okay.
didn't have brothers, but you had sisters. And not only did you have sisters, you had twin sisters.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different dynamic
Hmm.
um, that I don't understand.
Hmm.
So that treating one child different from another child never touched me. I
Hmm.
was treated different, like a couple of my different cousins. We're all the same age. It's like, see me, it's five of us. We're all the same age, three girls, two boys. And I mean, within a 5 month age
Hmm.
difference. You know, our parents were popping them at that time. So we would be babysat together. And depending on whose grandma or great aunt, well, they were all our great aunts, but whose
Yeah.
grandma ever
Yeah.
babysat us, certain kids were treated different.
Yes.
But when that was noticed by my mom, I was removed from the situation. They weren't allowed to babysit me.
Mm.
So that never touched me. So, like you said, we went to college, and I too went to an HBCU, uh,
Hmm.
and I had a 1 in 7 ratio. So yeah, it was more girls, but it didn't touch me. I never felt I had to compete. I never felt I was like, ooh, these boys need to get it together. I know they're excited because all these girls, but they need to get it together. There needs to be more boys here. I never saw it the flip side of I need to compete to be seen. For dating, if I didn't like you, I didn't like you. I didn't do extra, you know. So wow. Thank you. I didn't I never saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, who or what inspired me to believe that change was possible for my family line? I'm going to piggyback on my bestie and say it was me because I was tired of being tired. I was
Mm.
tired of being exhausted. I was tired of being the dumping ground. I was tired of being the fixer. I was tired of being everything for everyone and no one was there for me. And I
100%.
stopped.
Yeah.
So that is what inspired me. And I refuse for my children to go down that path. I refuse for my girls to miss out on any part of life in the joy. I refuse them to miss out on making mistakes when they were teenagers or making mistakes in their 20s. I am 50 years old and I'm still just learning how to make certain mistakes because I didn't allow myself the freedom because I
Mhm.
had to be perfect. Um, so I'm the one who inspired that. So that's something we do have in common. Okay. What are some practical steps you took or are taking to break the cycles?
So some practical steps that I took were one, I put the kids in the same thing. They were both in gymnastics. Uh, then when they found what they liked, I let them go to where what they liked. Um, I also talk to my kids all the time.
Mm,
Um, which I know a lot of people, even you sometimes question me, why are you talking to him about that? What are you saying? You did.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Why are you guys talking about that? Like, what's
I
going
did.
on? Like, why? Like, they don't need to know that. Like, I wanted them to be part of their growing up, where
Mm,
sometimes I didn't feel like I was part of my growing up. I was just
mm,
there. Um, and I feel like
mm,
children, oh my God, maybe that's why this week has been so rough with my students because children don't feel like they're part of their growing up.
mm. So how do you
And I
think that
didn't want
goes with your
my
babies?
kids to feel like they were not part of the process. That's why I let them pick. My son picked his high school because I always thought my kids were gonna go to Carmel, but I knew I didn't want them to go, but I was like, I went, so they're gonna go. But I
Mm,
broke that generational curse already because
mm,
I
mm,
put them in public school. My son decided he didn't want to go to the main campus. He wanted to go to New Tech. So he went to New Tech.
mm,
Then my daughter said, I'm not going to main campus. My brother's at New Tech. I'm following him. Like, and I let them do that. Um,
mhm,
like a lot of the stuff, I let them live their lives. I mean, we've had discussions and things that I would never, ever fathom my mother would
mhm.
ever have with me or my father have with me, ever. And they were
So
educators.
what I'm here, what you're saying is amazing. Again, knowing you more time than most people have been alive, and this is new for me, but we're for you, and I noticed this about you,
Hmm.
you tend to focus a lot on your babies. And I mean, I
Hmm.
get that. But what about you for Olivia, Michelle, Clark brothers?
Hmm.
What steps have you taken to break your generational curse cycles? Not just, and the children thing is great. I'm not poo-pooing it at all.
Hmm.
But I know you'll get over there and you love them so much and you focus on them so
And
much,
I'll
you
stay there.
forget about yourself.
Hmm.
So what about you?
Um, so I guess then for that, the generational curse that I broke,
Mm,
for that was finding out who I was
mm,
and living for myself.
mm,
Um, so we had this discussion. Like we didn't know we were on the same wavelength as far as spiritual growth.
mm,
And I think um when I left my career in 2018
mm,
and really focused on taking care of my grandmother and
mm,
in that, I think that was the true catalyst because
mm,
my grandma always had so much wisdom as far as like when it came to men, when it came to living, exercising, cooking, like she knew it all, gardening, all of it. And to see her where she was heartbreaking. And
yeah.
so for me, that got me on the path of, well, it's time for me to break this curse of I gotta live for my spouse. I have to live for everything else. No, I have to live for me. I need to get
Mm,
up and I need to say, hey, what am I going to do to make myself feel better today? And my
okay.
grandmother always talked about that. That's why she always was like, did you exercise today? What
Mm-hmm.
did you eat? Like she always asked, and I'd be like, Grandma, I got the kids and blah, blah, blah. And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
I know you're doing all that for the kids, but what about you? And she would say that all the
Mm,
time. And I always thought, well, you only had one kid. What the heck are you worried about? Like, you had one kid, so you
you
could
only
do
had
that.
two.
And I understand I only had two, but I was just like, no, my kids, like you said, were
Yes.
my life and
Yeah.
still are a big part of my life, but
Yeah.
they're not number one anymore. And
Right.
I was running back and forth. And when I realized I actually, there it is. My friend hates, hates uh inspirational people who yell at you.
Yeah.
So she does not like it.
Mm-mm.
So I love this man, Eric
Which one?
Thomas.
Goggins? Goggins?
No,
Oh,
no, no. Eric Thomas.
so yeah, you do.
I was listening to Goggins, but I had to he was too military for me. So
I tried him. It was
yeah.
too much for me.
So I heard a speech that Eric Thomas made. He's the hip hop preacher. If you guys don't know who he is, definitely jump on, listen to a couple of his podcasts. He's really good. Um, but one of the things he said was, because he broke some generational curses in his life too. Um, he said was, you can't be you until you find you. And when he said that, like it at first I was just like, what do you mean? I am me. What are you talking about? And he said it again. He said, you can't be you until you find you. And I was like, well, I'm right here. What are you talking about? And he said it again. Now, mind you, he said it three times on a recording. It wasn't like he was talking to me. He was on a
Mhm.
recording. He said it three
He was
times.
talking to you.
He was talking to me without knowing he was talking to me.
Mhm.
And when he said it again, I said, oh, do I know who I am?
Mm-mm.
Do I know why I'm here? It's not just to be my children's mother. It's just
Mhm.
not here to be a spouse. It's not just here to be a daughter, a friend. Like, do I know who I am?
Mhm.
And when I realized that I didn't know who I
Mhm.
really was and my purpose here, besides my children, it was like mind blowing. Where I sat and cried. Like, it was
Mhm.
so painful because I was like, we were always taught you go to school, you get married, you have kids, you work to retirement, you retire for a couple of years, and you die. That's it. And that's a life of a worker bee. I didn't want to be a worker bee.
Mm-mm.
I want
Mm-mm.
to be able to be the queen of my hive and just sit. And when I realized that, I was like,
Mm.
done. That's when I started taking on my exercise classes. That's when I
Mhm.
started eating different, like even just retreats, spiritual, like really focusing on who this inner child was, counseling, all of that, and figure out
Nice.
who the inner child was. So then figure out who the inner teenager is, which I'm working on her now. Um, and just truly healing to be
Mm.
who I need to be.
Mm.
Hmm. Yes, friend. What are you gonna say?
Now I'm gonna let it go. Okay, so what are the practical steps that I took or are taking to break the cycles? For me, my practical step is no. That's my step. No. And no is a complete sentence. Um, my biggest person, hey, Nyla Piper. Okay.
Oh,
My biggest person that keeps trying to keep the old Jolonda here, the one that died and can't be reborn, is my mom because she's used to her obedient daughter who does what she says and who will stop her whole life just because she wants to do something. And my mother loves me. I'm going to preference this. My mother loves me the best way she knows how. I am spoiled. I'm not a brat, but I'm spoiled. I am spoiled. She's spoiled. However, within that spoiling, I was spoiled and I could get whatever I wanted as long as whatever I wanted was what she wanted. When I wanted something different, it didn't happen. Okay. I don't know if that's clear, if you can understand what I'm trying to say. So at this point, I'm a mother of two adult young women. I am married and I have my own life. My mother is aging. So she's always been needy, and I've always been there to accommodate. But she's having a hard time now because I say no. We've been working on it for years, Olivia knows. Um, she's better. If she knows for a fact, if ever she needed me, I'm there. Drop of the what is it? Drop of the hat, drop of a dime,
Hmm.
whichever.
Either
I'm
one.
huh? Either
Either
one?
one.
Okay. I'm there. And if I can't get there, Olivia's there. If Olivia can't get there, my god sister Rosalind is there. If Rosalind can't get there, my cousin Carmen will be there. If Carmen can't get there, even though
Somebody
Tracy and I
will
are
be there.
falling out, Tracy will be there. Like
Hmm.
literally, she has a huge support system, okay? However, she always calls me first, which she should. I'm her child. But it's like for stupid stuff, not, oh, I really need you. It's, oh, I just want you to come. Okay, I'll go. Well, I want you to stay a week. I got stuff to do. I can't stay 7 days. How about you come to my house? You can stay at my house as long as you want. You got your own room. Like you literally have a room with your own bathroom. You can stay here as long as you want. I can't break away from my life because I'm finally to the point where I'm building me. My children are grown. They don't need me like they used to. My relationship with my spouse is pretty good now. I don't have to work, 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 work for that. The people who love me and who are supposed to be in my life are still here, and we have a great relationship where I don't have to constantly babysit like I used to. It's my time. I'm developing my dreams, I'm developing my passions. Speaking of, I'm going to do my book I just wrote and published. That's a passion. So, anywho, developing my dreams, developing my passions, and I cannot just be there for you at the drop of the hat. So, um, that's my practical step. No. If it's very important, then yes, you got me. You got me as long as you need me. But if it's frivolous and it's taking away from my personal time, the answer is no. And it's a no with love.
Hmm.
So, and if you guys have noticed, I really don't have much to say on these topics because Olivia is answering it so thoroughly that I can just go ditto, ditto. So it worked. This is really cool today. Okay. Number 6. How has your healing journey? Hey, be nice to your mom, Nyla.
As you guys will see further every episode, Nyla will come in and she gets her loving. She is very spoiled, like my children.
With her little cat booty. Okay, let me focus. How has your healing journey impacted your relationships with family members? Oh wow, I didn't even know that question was coming. For better or for challenge. So I guess that's for better or worse. So I'm going to repeat that. How has your healing journey impacted your relationship with family members for better and or for worse?
Whew. Hmm. So there was a time where it was, so I will say my immediate family, which are my mom and my sisters, because my father has passed away. Um, there was a time when it was really like tumultuous.
Mm,
Um, it got back better. Um, we're okay right now. It's different because they have their own, things that they're going through. We're all, well, I'm 50 now, but they're in their 40s, so we're close in age, but we weren't together because we were 4 years apart in school. So that made a difference. Um, it also made a difference because they were twins and
hmm.
they were the
That's a
twins.
sisterhood that you
Yeah,
can't get into
they had
because,
each other.
yeah, they have each other.
So it was different. My familiar, my family dynamic within my house. Um, my daughter got it. She got it
Mm,
quick because my daughter is very intuitive. So she got it quick. She understood. She's like, yes, mommy. And now she's light years of where I would ever be. Like, I am so proud that she has been able to see what I've done.
Mm,
Son, there was a
mm,
little time when he was kind of like, Mom, why can't you just jump when I need you to jump?
mhm,
And because I would before. Um, and so now he
mm.
knows like I need to call her or I need to text her to see
Right,
can she do something or can I ask her something?
right.
When he get mad about something, he talk a crazy. I'll be like, okay, I don't have time for that. Like, fix it. Um, Friendships in and out. I mean, both of us can talk about how during the beginning of our spirituality, we lost a friend. Um, our other friend, well, her cousin, my friend. Um, that circle, how,
Yeah,
has the ebbs and flows.
yeah.
We even have our ebbs and flows.
Yeah, we didn't talk for what, 2 years?
Yeah. So relationship, it does impact, but it's how you try to fix it. Like, what is your main, when you're going through this, you always have to look at like, what is this situation gonna benefit me as, and how am I gonna benefit them? Uh, if I'm only here just to be their fixer, or I'm just
Mm,
here to be their cheerleader or their
mm,
collaborator or
mm,
whatever, if I'm not getting any benefit out of this,
mm.
then I need to go hands off and just let it fizzle out on its own. But if
Okay.
we,
You're going wide and you're getting out of familiar. This was just about, I want to make sure I'm not failing. Yeah, this is just about family members.
okay,
That's why I did that. Because see, I know where you're going and I get
uh-huh,
it, but
uh-huh,
we're trying to be
okay,
concise this time because
okay,
Olivia and I will go off on a tangent and it'll be 3 hours later. So that's
okay,
why we did questions, so we could be concise.
all right, then that's it.
So
So
that's how you
family,
feel.
it's ebbs and flows. That's it.
Okay. So do you think it's been beneficial? And I'm not even talking about for them because this is you focused, you centric.
Hmm.
Has it been beneficial for you, even if it's the times of conflict, even if you said the ebbs and flows? So if you're on a dip, what
Hmm.
an ebb would
Dip,
be low, right?
line.
And then the
Mhm.
flow would be high. So if you're on an ebb or a low point, do you feel that it's been beneficial for you to continue to put yourself first and to work toward
Yes,
breaking those curses?
yes,
Okay.
yes, 100%.
Okay. Um,
Same to you.
yeah, I know I'm trying to think, honey. Impacted for me. I always start with the for me. I got to work on that. Um, it has impacted me very positively. My family members, at first, not so much. Um, the wife that was always there to be your uh, girl Friday, the person that handled all of your stuff without any concern for my time or what I had going on. She's gone. That's very hard to deal with, you know. The daughter that dropped everything to do for you is gone. The daughter that wouldn't even start a new venture without calling you up and getting your input and then you telling me to wait, not because you didn't want me to be great, but you didn't have control over that aspect of me. So you really didn't want me to, you can do it, but I really don't want you to because that's my control. She's gone. The mom who, like you said, at the drop of a hat, I'm there, was gone. You know, that's hard. That's been hard for them. But the benefit of that is I'm a better person. I'm
Hmm.
actually more available than I was before because I did everything else out of obligation. Now, when I do for everyone, it's out of love and
Yes.
because I truly want to, and they see the difference. So, in the beginning, it was and I mean, this is not 2 months, this is years. I mean, I've
Hmm.
been in Atlanta for 10, and this started before I got to Atlanta, and we still working on it. So, we over 10 years here, okay? So, in the beginning, it was a lot of pushback like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. That's not who you were. And I can't fault them because that's what I showed them. That's what I allowed. I can't get mad at you for stepping on me if I lay down. I'm going to get mad. I laid there. So,
What the new kids do?
so um, I've gotten up and that doormat girl is gone. But on the flip side of that, it was painful. It's been difficult. But I'm happier and they're happier, and we have true relationships. Like when my young ladies, I can't call them babies anymore, they'll always be my babies. But when they come and talk to me now, it's they let me into parts of their lives that they would have never let that needy mommy into. Because, yeah, I was giving to them, but that's because I needed them for validation. I don't need them anymore. I validate myself. So they let me into their lives and we have real conversations and we have oh, I'm about to cry. And we have a
Hmm.
real relationship that I never thought I would have with my girls. Oof.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's it's hard when it comes to the children,
Yeah,
only because we were always conditioned to be that mom.
yeah,
Like, and for you, it was even a little bit more difficult because you were the only, most of the time, because your husband traveled.
yeah, I was it.
So that is why your connection was different because, like, you had no one else to talk to afterwards. Like,
Mhm.
they were the only ones.
Yeah,
Where for me, I they weren't the only thing that I had to talk to. So, you know, doing doing your time and seeing the girls, because now I see the girls when we FaceTime and things like that. Like, it's crazy to see that they are just these magnificent girls, because then I see my daughter who's right under yours, youngest,
mhm,
and when she turned 21, I looked at the picture and I looked at, well, more and more. And this is where she's gonna be when I look at your baby and your oldest. So I'm like, that is where my baby's gonna be.
yeah.
So um it's fantastic. Um, but I love that you know that they will always be there for you no
Mhm,
matter what. And your girls have seen you
mhm,
through all your stages. And I think they were the best at teaching you and saying and reminding you, hey, keep going, mommy,
mhm.
because we saw what you looked like when you were depressed, or we saw what you looked like when you weren't happy with any situation that was going on in your life.
Yeah.
So you definitely were a catalyst for them.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate that.
welcome. You're welcome.
As you can see, we are such mommies over here. We cannot get off these kids if we try. I'm trying real hard to get off the children and keep circling back to the children, but it is what it is. We are
It
who we are.
is.
Okay. In what ways do you nurture yourself when the weight of being a cycle breaker feels heavy?
First thing is I sleep. Like that's my biggest recharge. I nurtured
Mm,
myself through sleep because normally I would keep going and run myself ragged.
okay.
My second is my exercise. Um, and then third is actually I realized that I've always loved to travel and go places.
Mm,
So traveling, um, and being outside.
okay.
Um, because as a Pisces, I love water. I love being by water. So going to the beach, being in the sand, but even just being in my grass, walking around barefoot. Jolanda will tell you, like, and anybody who truly knew me knows that I want an F1 Ford 50, F-150. I want Daisy Dukes. I want the running boards, and I just want to be free.
And those
That's
things
always been
that go up
what I
and
see.
pick out the smoke
Oh
thing.
yeah, and the pipes that go up the
Yeah,
side that the smoke's
yeah.
pop up.
She is so
Like that's
country,
always
y'all.
been me. And so to rejuvenate and regenerate myself, I try to do as much as I can to possibly get there
Okay.
without having that. So being outside, standing on the grass with no shoes on and grounding myself. Sleep is the biggest for me
Mm,
because I definitely um don't sleep like I need to.
mm.
Um so
Is it,
sleep is
are you
definitely a
not
way.
restfully sleeping or you're not
Not
sleeping?
restfully. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So definitely. That's why sometimes when we talk, I'm just like, girl, I went to sleep as soon as I got home and didn't wake
Yeah.
up until like 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, so getting restful sleep, um, and again, doing my exercising,
Mm,
to get out that energy that I need to remove, and being outside and try, girl, the travel is about to get real, real soon.
oh, and don't forget to send me the link because
Oh,
I
I
didn't
already did.
see it.
I already did.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about that. I already did.
All right. Okay. So in what ways do you nurture yourself? Um, I don't want to keep saying the same thing. So mine is not sleep though. I want to be gone all the time. So um, I literally have to force myself to lay down and go to sleep. I want to go, 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 go. So, but exercise, but specific exercises. Like I like the exercises where you're moving your body,
It comes.
especially hips. Anything with hip gyration and things of that nature, I love. Um, just definitely that. And like the what do you? I don't want to call them treatment, anti-aging treatments. I just love them. They are like fun to me. So I like to do that and massages, as you can hear, basically pampering myself. That's how I nurture. I pamper myself. And I like decorating. I love to change up things to make it new. Um, so that's something that brings me so much joy because it's only about me. So I'll find a space and I'll totally take it apart and make it new. That brings me joy. Um, yeah, that's really it because everything else is other people centric, but just for me, I said it again, just for me, as for me. Um, yeah, I do enjoy the exercising and just the quote unquote pampering myself. And sometimes just going to get lost, if that makes sense. I'll go drive to a new area and walk around um, and get lost in the area. And I like to look at architecture and just get lost. And in the past, I wouldn't allow myself that freedom if I didn't have someone to go with me. Now I just go by myself, and it's so lovely to discover something new, to find a new place to eat, to see new things, and just feel the sun on my body. It makes me happy. So that we have in common. I've tried walking in the grass barefoot. I do. I try. I just keep seeing spiders and like I'd be like, ooh, I'm stepping on a spider or something.
But
It's
I like to be in the garden. I like to dig in the dirt. I like to
me
touch all that
too.
stuff.
A little bit.
a little bit, but that goes to again, not Nyla Piper. That goes again to the difference. Like
Yeah.
that's the city mouse, not the country mouse. Those are the
Yeah, I am
I think
definitely
about
city
that.
mouse with a little country love.
Yeah,
Like,
not
I'm
country
gonna
mouse
tell
with a
some
little city
business.
love.
I'm gonna tell some business. Olivia and I took a little girls' weekend trip, and we had a great time, mind you. Didn't do anything we were supposed to do, but we had an amazing time. And she was talking about, oh, I found a cabin over in the area. Next time we can go to the cabin. I was looking at her like, what kind of cabin? And she was like, no, no, no. It's not that type of cabin. You can even have what'd you say, a chef or something
Personal
come
chef,
in?
yeah.
A
Has a
chef
personal
come
chef
in,
and
so
all
someone to
that.
cook for you, and they have the beautiful things. So I'm like, okay, so we're not talking about bugs and all that.
No, no,
And I
no.
said, and is it close? So I can get some nightlife or something if I feel like it? Yes, we can go into the city. Because see, she would just be happy with a pond and a tiny house and the barefoot. And I'm like, girl, I'm gonna come visit you, but I need to go to a hotel because yeah, no. However, on the flip side, I like to hike. Like I love hiking. I'm just not gonna sleep in the woods and I'm not gonna eat in the woods. But I will
No.
walk through the woods and I will mountain climb, I will zip line, I will do all that activities. And then I need to go to some shelter with some beauty and some soft beds and those things. So, anywho, off track as per usual. Let's get back together. We only got three more questions.
Okay.
What lessons are you all Okay, what lessons are you most proud to pass on to the next generation? Oh, she's leaving.
Squirrel.
Yeah,
Um,
squirrel. No, Morgan's friend is over and she's leaving now.
okay.
I didn't get to say bye. That's okay. I'll say bye next
Um, the lesson that I'm glad to pass over is to always make sure you're number one. I make sure I tell my children that all the time. Make sure you are number one.
time.
Even though my oldest is married with, a child, I still tell them to be number one, only because,
I
no,
still
I'm
tell them
just
to be
saying
number
for
one.
me, I didn't, no, I'm saying for
Okay.
me, I didn't hear that from my parents about being
Oh,
number one. Like
okay.
making sure that you are number one in your life.
Yeah.
And that goes for like even thinking about like schooling and in business and in your career,
Yeah.
like make sure you're number one so that you're person that if you leave, they're like, oh God, what are we gonna do? They were so talented in what they did because they had mastered whatever that was. So being number one in your own life for yourself is very important. And I hope that I know my daughter gets it. Oh, she gets it because she reminds me all the time, Mommy, remember, I'm number one. And I say, yep, you are number one. So I have to remind everybody else around her, she's number one,
Mhm.
so that they're not pushing what they want onto her. So yeah. What's that face for?
Thinking, thinking phase. And I'm watching. Okay, I'm also up here being a mom
She's
because
such
I'm
a
also
squirrel.
watching
And
out
this
the
is what you
driveway.
just told me.
But I can't help it. It's in front of my window. I'm making sure that she got to her car safely because it's raining outside, and I'm making sure she executed this 3-point turn perfectly. Good job. And now she's leaving. Okay. Sorry, I can focus again. Um, I'm working on it. Um, what lessons was passing on? It's okay to say no. It's okay to be selfish, and it's okay to put yourself first in personal relationships, in business relationships, I have conversations going on that are hilarious behind me. So apologies. So I said personal relationships, interpersonal relationships, and business relationships. If you're in a job, especially being young, if you're in a job and you're not even being paid well, you're just making just above minimum wage and you feel you're being abused, it's okay to stand up for yourself, to advocate for yourself, to fight for yourself, and to walk away. You know, that was not taught to me. It was, well, you need to try to fix it because you know you have a job and jobs are hard to come by.
Hmm.
So no, it's not. They're not, they are difficult, but whatever, you'll find another one. You should never stay anywhere with
Where
anyone
you're not
where you are
appreciated.
being belittled and taken advantage of, period. And so I'm very, it makes me feel very proud and blessed that they got that and that they see that and they'll say, you know what, I'm going to try and I'm going to speak up for myself. And if it doesn't change, I'm out. And
Hmm.
that brings me immense pleasure and joy that they won't be used, you know. So that's mine. Okay. How do you how do you handle moments of guilt or pressure to return to old patterns?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
how do I handle guilt? Hmm. Um, I do. I'm gonna say I do sit in it for a minute.
Mhm.
Um, Only because one of the things that I realize is that in part of my growth is that I have to feel my emotions because normally I don't. I push them away.
Mm.
So I do sit in them, but then I realize that has nothing to do with me. This guilt that they're trying to put on me or this guilt that I feel is not mine to carry.
Okay.
So I let it go.
Mm.
What's the other part?
Um, it's
How
the
do I
same
feel in moments of
question.
guilt
Or pressure to
or
return
pressure?
to your old
Now
self.
pressure is different. Guilt,
Oh.
I can let go. Pressure, sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. See, the guilt part, I'll feel it and then I'll let it go.
Mm.
Pressure, I feel like is different.
Mm.
I will sit and think about it for a little bit, like, oh, but to go back, mm-mm, no, never to go back. Maybe pressure, maybe that's something that maybe I used to do, maybe
Mhm.
that wasn't so bad, maybe I think. But I'll just say I'll sit in the feeling and then I'll be like, okay, and keep going.
Okay. Um, I don't handle them. I just be like, I'm not changing, so you're gonna have to get over it. Um, at this point, I'm a little past the guilt. I've been guilt tripped so long, that I just be like, okay, I don't know what to tell you. The answer is no. Pressure, the answer is no. So, but that's because again, I had to finally just take a, this is it. Um, and 90% of the people in my life walking away kind of helped that because they walked away when I no longer would serve them or they
Hmm.
lied on me and they thought they were taking something away from me when in truth, they were just removing the greatest gift they ever had from their life, which was me, because I brought them all the success, I brought them all the joy. And this is not me putting myself on a pedestal. The distinct people I'm speaking of, their life fell apart when they were removed from my life. So I had to understand that and just say, no, it's okay. Um, Olivia knows the friendship that was lost. um, the third person in our foursome would often say, well, maybe we should call, maybe we should do this, and maybe we should do that. And years ago, I would be like, oh, maybe. And then one day I was just like, no, no. If she wants to talk to me, she can. However, I did reach out to her to say happy 50th birthday because that's a milestone. And I was in this woman's life for 20 something years. So it wasn't, I want to reconnect. It was, I love you, regardless if we're friends or not. And I'm wishing you the best. Uh, did she respond? She actually did respond to me and say thank you. But have I heard from her since? No. Am I looking to hear from her? No. When I go home to Chicago, do I go to her house? No. Do I have feelings about that? No. I'm thinking about her now because we're talking about it. So that's that. If my mama can't make me change, that's it. If Edna can't do it, it can't be done. Because that's my biggest heart. The carver of my heart. What would you call that? The person, the pup. I'm the
Person.
biggest puppet with her or whatever.
Mhm.
So if she can't make me do it, mm, we're beyond that. Okay. Final question. What advice would you give to someone who feels called to break generational curses but is afraid to start? I'm gonna say, just do it.
That's literally what I was
I
gonna
do
say.
it. I do it.
Literally what I was gonna say is do it.
Just do it.
Like,
It's hard.
'cause if you don't, it's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
You're not, you're gonna be, my dad used to say this, oh my God, all the time. He would say, there are so many people in the grave, in the
Oh,
cemetery, shoulda, coulda, woulda,
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
inventions, millionaires, all this kind of stuff. They died with so many regrets. There's maybe, he said, maybe 1% of people who ever died saying that they did what they wanted
Yeah.
to do in life.
Yeah.
And
Right.
to die and not have really accomplished what you needed to do
Mm.
is the worst
Excuse me.
legacy to leave
Yeah.
on this earth.
Yeah.
Now, spiritually wise, that means for me, I would have to come back here. I ain't, I'm trying not to come back. I know there's probably some other lessons I need to learn. I'm trying not to come back, but I don't want to go at the time where I'm like, oh my God, stop, stop. There's more things I needed to do, or there was
Mhm.
something I needed to do. No. Mm-mm. So just do it, do it, do it, do it. If they don't like it, that's fine. Keep doing it because you will find your tribe. You will find
Mm.
the people who truly love you, who will respect you in your decision and keep it moving.
Yeah. The worst thing is to live with regrets. You do it scared, you do it unprepared, you do it financially insecure, you just do it. And that is a lesson. I'm going to go back to question number 8. What lesson are you most proud to be passing on to the next generation since we had started talking about this? That's a lesson I instill that in my girls. If you want to try it, try it. Go for it. Try it scared. I'm not saying go do nothing dangerous, go kill nobody, go do but things you just want to explore and learn and try it. Go for it. Do it. At this moment, you guys are not in any type of long-term relationship and you have no children. The world is yours. Just try it. I want to go over here. Go. Yeah, I'm gonna be sad because you're gonna leave when you leave my house. But go. Enjoy your life. It's your life. It's not my life. It's yours. My part in your life was to instill a foundation and to be here if you need me. So from now on, just go, just do it because you don't want to sit. And I can sit here now at 50 and I can count and recount and remember very vividly and clearly the things that what do you call that? The events, Oh, freak, I can't think of the word. But you know, when you have the opportunities. Thank you, God. Thank you, guys. The opportunities I let slip through my hands, and they were right in front of me because I had fear or I felt that I was underqualified or I said I have to wait. Olivia knows I've said for years, oh, I have to wait. Well, I'm gonna have to wait. I don't wait on anything anymore. Now, financially, I'm not gonna do nothing stupid and just blow every penny to do something dumb. But if I can do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm not waiting. I've missed so many opportunities, and they don't come around again. They don't come around in that same uniform. They'll come back, but it's gonna be different, and it may not be as prosperous as the first one when you should have just moved. When you had the inspiration to move and you said, no, and you know what I'm doing. Well, learn while you go. Like what did he say? Our ex-president, you call him ex-president or past president?
As president,
Whatever. Obama.
as
When you
president.
get into the rooms with the people that you look up to, you realize that they have way less knowledge than you. You're sitting at those tables and you're like, I look up to you. You can't tie your shoe. And the older I get, the more I realize that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought you were so great and you know nothing. I'm having to teach you how to do it. I could have done this years ago. I could have been you, but I sat down and was scared and you moved. So, yes, that's a great way to end that. Okay, because we'll start a whole nother conversation on that waiting. And you know it well, because Olivia and I should definitely be eons ahead of where we are, but we both said, we'll wait till next year. Olivia, you gonna do that? Girl, no, I'm away. Okay. Jolonda, you gonna do it? Mm-mm. You know, I got two kids in college. That was always my excuse. Now they both out of college. What's the excuse now? None. So anyway, okay, thank you so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Um,
We will
do you
see you
have any,
next time.
thank you. Do you have anything you'd like to add to wrap it up?
Just for everyone who is out there listening, just take a minute and think about where you want to be and what's stopping you.
Mm,
And if it's something that like physically stopping you or financially stopping you, okay, that's fine. But if it's just doubt or other people whispering in your ear, let it go and make the move.
I love that. And I'm gonna add to it. Even if it's physically or financially, you can figure it out.
That's
You can
true too.
always, there is always a workaround. And you do not have to do it directly, and you can still get the job done. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to speaking with you again. See you. Well, we're gonna cut this little part. We look forward to speaking with you again. Toodles.